Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, July 2nd. Weather this week will continue to see breezy winds in the south. However, they will decrease going into the weekend, and we will continue to see thunderstorms in the north. Otherwise, rapid warming and drying is expected this weekend into early next week, with possible thunderstorms returning to southern and eastern areas either later in the weekend or early next week. Otherwise, for fuels, we still have our Great Basin Fuel and Fire Behavior Advisory in effect, and also in the north, fire danger has moderated quite a bit due to the recent weather. Here's a quick look at our Fuel and Fire Behavior Advisory. It is available in the banner on our website, so please see that for more details. For the coming days, again, those winds will remain breezy, similar to what we saw yesterday across the southern region, so gusts generally in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range with very dry conditions, and we obviously have our large fires down there, so they will continue to be impacted by the burning environment. Further north, we will see those isolated to scattered thunderstorms, kind of a mix of wet and dry, so they will bring some moisture, and many of these areas did see some of that moderation with the recent weather. Otherwise, warmer and drier conditions by the weekend. Over the last 24 hours, the thunderstorms we saw were generally up north and a mix of wet and dry with just some lighter amounts of precipitation, but no significant impacts yet from that lightning. Over the last 7 days, the moisture we saw in the north from the cold front last weekend into early this week brought well above normal precipitation to all of central and western Idaho, into northern Nevada, and even into parts of Wyoming. Further south, we had more thunderstorm activity, so the precipitation was very spotty, but really any precipitation for June, since it is our driest month, would push the precipitation above normal, so that's what you're seeing here on the right, although it was fairly localized, and we definitely saw some drier spots. Our Great Basin fire activity over the last 24 hours, we saw 10 new fires for over 250 acres and 16,000 acres of growth on our large fires. No new large fires across the region, but we did see some fires over southern Idaho that did grow to between 100 and 150 acres in the lower elevations. Our morning satellite, we do have some cloud cover similar to yesterday over northeast Nevada and into western Utah. So again, we'll start to see those thunderstorms develop later today. Otherwise, still smoke impacts for southern and eastern areas, although it looks like fires weren't quite as active this morning as in past mornings, but we'll still continue to see those clear skies and the burning environment increase. So afternoon smoke, really just smoke from our incidents, no smoke from other areas, with the exception of from Arizona, could see a little bit of smoke drift over southeast Utah. Currently, our fire danger conditions, ERCs, are between the 90th and 97th percentile over the southern half of the region, and still moderated and below the 80th percentile further north, especially in the mountains. But you can see from the charts that ERCs will rebound very quickly over the coming week with the hotter and drier conditions. Looking at our weather pattern for the next few days, we do have weak low pressure moving across to the north. This will again keep those chances for thunderstorms the next couple of days in the north, and also those breezy winds and drier conditions down south. So we do have high risk for burn environment for the next 2 days in our areas where we have large fires in the south. Otherwise, by Saturday, we will see warmer and drier conditions, but winds will decrease overall, so that's definitely good news, but definitely hotter temperatures pushing us back into the above normal criteria. Looking at the details, the winds today and tomorrow, you can see the breezy winds over southern areas, again, mostly in the 20s. Could see some gusts right around 30 miles per hour with still that southerly or southwest component. And then further north, these will all be gusty outflow winds from any thunderstorms that do develop. And Saturday, we do see those winds decrease, although relative humidity just gets drier and drier, especially as we go into the weekend with those warming temperatures. So we'll see more widespread single-digit relative humidity across the southern 2/3 of the region. Looking at precipitation, a very minimal and just tied to the north, where we will see spotty thunderstorms with localized rain. Otherwise, mixing heights will remain high going forward through the next several days, especially in the south, affecting our large incidents. Looking at Sunday through Tuesday, we will have building high pressure from the southwest. This will actually push some moisture into southern areas of the Great Basin, possibly later on Sunday and more likely into Monday. So we will see a return of thunderstorms for parts of the Arizona Strip and Utah and possibly even further north. So definitely something to watch with our very dry conditions and after the building heat going through this weekend along with the dryness. So we do have high risk for thunderstorms on Monday, and we will be watching Sunday in parts of the area as well. Now, just notice that these areas likely will change as we get towards Sunday and Monday, as these features are very weak, and we could see a thunderstorm high risk in a greater area. By Tuesday, much of that moisture looks to move out of the region, so this Shot of moisture will be very quick, with definitely thunderstorms on the drier side or a mix of wet and dry, followed by drier conditions. So definitely don't expect any significant moisture with these. Looking at the details, winds will be fairly light Sunday going into Monday, and Tuesday generally just moderate southwest or west breezes. Otherwise, relative humidity remains very dry on Sunday, and we may see a bit of an increase going into Monday with that return of moisture, but still staying dry. So you can see the precipitation going into early next week. We will see those hints of thunderstorms returning. Again, specific areas in the details will be ironed out over the coming days, but something to watch for our southern and eastern areas later in the weekend. And then mixing heights remain high. Temperatures also will be warming today, still generally closer to normal or even a few degrees below normal in some areas. And then we will see those temperatures rapidly rise by Saturday with highs in the 5 to 8 degrees above normal. Looking at our 7-day fire potential outlook recap, just the high risk today and tomorrow for the burn environment down south. And then we do see a return of high risk of lightning in the south by Monday. But again, these areas, both Sunday and Monday, very uncertain. So just keep an eye on the forecast. The 6 to 10 day outlook, taking us from July 7th through the 11th, still shows warm and dry conditions for the region, some hints at the monsoon down in parts of the southwest, which could impact the Great Basin mid to late month, but right now still very uncertain with how consistent any of that moisture will be. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.